time now to watch the rally. Gary Burns, a well-known driver in the New South Wales State Series, took a corner with a touch too much enthusiasm.
Can't put your blue uniform off.
Let's one. Come on.
Come on, everybody off the road, please.
Assistance from spectators. The slightly damaged escort was back on the road, losing only 10 minutes. Special stage 6 and the field was becoming somewhat depleted. Ian Hill, with only Greg Carr speared ahead, set the fastest times in the remaining stages of the race. David Officer was consistently within seconds of Hill in his surge to the lead, but the strain was beginning to show after 5 gearbox rebuilds, whilst Duncan's problems were far from over.
No, Mark. No, trouble with the diff. We've got a hole in the diff on the before we started the last section. And had to make a decision on what to do. It was about 16k, so we finished up getting a handkerchief and sticking it in the hole to get the oil in the diff. And we went fairly slowly through that section, and I think we dropped about 2 minutes off. So Officer would be in third. I would still think that we would probably be in either 5th or 6th place, hopefully.
The night division, back from Taree, had given Greg Carr the fastest times on the first 4 stages. The Canberra driver was confident of being first home.
It'll be a bit later than that, because it'll be more like 4.
After more than 15 hours in their cars, the runners looked fatigued. Murray Coote and Datsun and Nurioko Ota were still maintaining their top 5 positions in the field, as was David Officer and Kate Hobson. But it was the stress on the machines that would soon cause some interesting changes amongst the leaders overnight. Dealer meal break, the escort of Ian Hill had surprised by moving into first place after Greg Carr's Fiat broke an axle in the 50-kilometre special stage 5. But the escort too was experiencing some problems, and Ian Hill's navigator Phil Bonza wasn't about to discount Carr's powers of recovery.
You're in the lead. I don't know at this stage, Steve. Apparently Greg's got out of the stage, which means he'll take a maximum, which probably, well, it'll be very, very close. He'll take 7.5 minutes, which is about the lead he had.
So it could still be really fun.
It'll be very, very close, I think.
Ed Mulligan was more than concerned with Carr's position. If Carr was to finish in the top 6, it would affect Ed Mulligan's current points lead in the Australian Rally Championship. Tension mounted amongst the crews as the field waited for Carr's arrival. The Officer-Hobson combination were now looking at a possible second place.
The whole complexion of the event's changed.
Sure has, possibly. It depends whether Greg can get out or not. He's stuck there. Certainly has changed a lot.
Well, we've just heard he's got out. He's taken the maximum.
Right.
But he's out and he's still running. It was a half shot.
Right, well that will drop him back behind us, I would think, by hopefully a few minutes.
I'll have to go and do my sums now and make sure, find out exactly what the gap is.
And you're chasing Ian Hill by what, a couple of minutes?
Oh, I think it's a little more than that. I don't think we're going to catch him.
After the appearance of the Fiat, a somewhat harassed Greg Carr clarified his position.
I would say about 4th. David Officer, I would say, and Murray Coote would definitely be in front of us.
What exactly happened?
Broken axle.
Whereabouts?
In the long one. 50k, yeah.
How'd you get out?
Look, it's got drive on one wheel. They're very slow.
Drive all the way out? One axle?
No, we had our boys came into a spectator point. Thank goodness for 2-way radios.
Into the night, and there had been much deliberation over Greg Carr's eligibility to continue after he'd been towed for more than 200 metres from the scene of his breakdown. Outright leaders in the Group A class were Hotta and Anada, setting a blistering pace. The irrepressible Gary Burns, who we'd seen lose his escort earlier in a tight left-hander, showed his recuperative skills and still continued in the rally. The fourth and final day, Tuesday, much interest centred on the Greg Carr controversy. As for the standings, Ian Hill was holding a convincing lead of more than 4 minutes over David Officer, with a further 2 minutes back to Ross Duncan. Only a major incident now with Robbie and his second Dunlop 2GO victory.
Oh, the car is going excellent. We haven't really had any problems with it, and the car's still going well, so I don't anticipate any problems today. We just need to drive fairly neatly and tidily, and I think we'll be pretty right.
The amazing Nuriuko Hotta would take out the Group A class ahead of Wayne Bell and Ed Mulligan, while Greg Carr would be relegated following a disqualification due to the towing incident the previous night. After the morning special stages, the final order did not change. Ross Duncan and Steve McKimmie came in third. David Officer and Kate Hobson took second place, which put them in a very strong position for the Australian Rally Championship. As for Ian Hill and Phil Bonza, a comfortable first placing in the escort with a winning margin of over 4 minutes. The reward, a well-earned $7,000 to Ian Hill, while the state classified class winner, local Ron Kremen, looked on. For the Japanese, though, a truly successful rally, fifth outright and winners in Group A, proving the standard cars can run with the pros. The day belonged to Ian Hill and Phil Bonza.
After 5 rounds of the Australian Championship, the title's still far from decided. Canberra's Greg Carr, Victorian Dinter Officer and Sydney-sider Ed Mulligan can all still win. For the last and deciding round of the championship, we go to Brighton, Northern Victoria. It's the Enkerfield Alpine Rally.
The 1984 Australian Rally Championship was to be decided high in the Victorian Alps. Showers threatened, but fine and dry conditions were to prevail for the weekend. The 99 teams that had travelled to Brighton from all over Australia would find thick dust their main problem as the event unfolded. It's an early start at Bright Sports Ground. Teams make last-minute preparations, and if everything's okay, have time for a quick bit of breakfast. There'll be no relaxing, however, for David and Kate Officer.
David, no holds barred today.
No, it should be interesting, Keith. Let's see how we go. I think it's going to be a tough event, but we're still here at the finish and in a good place.
Well, a good place isn't good enough. You've got to win.
Well, we can come second if Ed doesn't win his class, provided Greg doesn't come first, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there are about 4 or 5 different combinations. I guess it's easier if you win.
It certainly is. It won't be easy to win, though, but we'll be giving it our best try.
Got the pace?
I don't think we can keep up with some of the top cars, but our car seems to be fairly reliable, touch wood, so we'll see what happens.
Canberra's Greg Carr can also win the championship. However, he has to win this event, plus hope that Mulligan finishes outside the top 3 in the production class.
Have a real good run and I'll see you there. First on the road. Bye-bye.
Time to start the action. The first stage is a couple of laps of the sports ground dirt circuit. Greg Carr's away. 2, Victorian Jeff Portman. Portman won the Rally Championship in 1981 and 1982, but 83 and 84 have been disappointing for the driver many consider the quickest in the country. Right from the start, he's quicker than Carr. Husband and wife team, the officers. For them, second place won't do. They have to win. Driving at 10 tenths right from the start, Dinter shows why 11 tenths isn't necessarily quicker. Hugh Bell insists on having the last word.
Those ribs up, Dewey.
The rally moves into the forest and teams get down to work in earnest. The Fiat leads the pack, but already has lost the lead. Portman's hot and certainly appreciating the extra power in the Bluebird's new twin-cam motor. The officers in the Mitsubishi, only a few seconds behind the leaders. Gosford team, Ian Hill and Phil Bonza. Last year they played a waiting game in the Escort and won the event. Again, they're well placed. After a somewhat shaky start, Hugh Bell is blitzing the field. He goes on to win more than half the morning stages and takes the lead. Already in trouble, George Fury has run off the road, smacked a tree and dropped back down the field to 82nd position. He now begins a fight back that will move the Datsun up 78 positions during the day. Queenslanders Murray Coote and Ian Stewart. South Australian driver Barry Lowe in the Mazda-powered 1600. Further north towards Beechworth, the leading cars move into pine forests. Dinter Officer now in the lead. Hot on his tail, Portman. Hill in the escort. Bell in the RX-7. Has the Fiat flying, but can't match Portman's pace or that of Bell in the stunning Mazda. Bell really is right off the air. In the production class, minor problems have forced Mulligan back down the field. The RX-7 can't match the pace of Wayne Bell in the Fiat. At the meal break in Beechworth, many teams are frantically repairing bent cars after an action-packed morning highlighted by accidents. Jeff Portman leads by 20 seconds from Dinter Officer. Ian Hill has moved the escort up to third, but trouble for Greg Carr.
Well, Greg, you've obviously been giving the Fiat heaps.
Yeah, a bit too much, I think.
What happened?
Well, we hit a rather large bump on a very fast straight, and it didn't look much, and no caution on it. And the car just launched itself, and eventually came down, and we affected a bank on the way down, and still doing about 60, 70 mile an hour at this stage, and virtually totally out of control, and it's just had a very gentle roll.
How much time have you lost?
Probably lost about 4 minutes on that.
Can you pick it up?
Yeah, early days. We've got a long way to go yet.
Okay, good. I believe you saw Hugh Bell in trouble as well.
Well, at the end of that stage, we were fixing our flat tyre, which happened as a result of our roll. Then we heard this bang, crash, bang, and we looked up, and here's Hugh Bell crashing into banks and bouncing off things, and ended up wedged between two banks, sideways across the road.
Was this in the same spot that you got in the mischief?
He did it right at the end of the stage, and in fact, he just passed the timing marker, so that was good luck for him.
Not good luck, really. The Mazdas are right off. Bell's out of the Alpine. After lunch, Carr gets busy in the battered Fiat, charging back into contention. ACT team, John Waterhouse and Russ Whitty. From the New South Wales Central Coast, Toyota team Ron Kremen and Ray Temple really flying in the little Corolla. He's right. Hansford has retired the Mazda with diff problems. Fury, fighting back through the field, gets a little too enthusiastic and misses a left turn. Murray Coote, running a patient race, shows the right way around. Greg Carr, still minus a mudguard, does the same. But cotton farmer Peter Glennie obviously learned his tricks from George. Find your way back up here, Peter. As the afternoon progresses, Portman suffers ignition problems and loses the lead to Officer. Fury has charged back to fourth, being at one stage right back with the tail enders. Mulligan has moved up to second in the production class, behind another Sydney driver, Jim Middleton. And Greg Carr is in outright third place, only about half a minute behind the leaders. Portman. A loose boot lid certainly not slowing him down. Car. Jeff Portman. Peter Thompson in the stanza. He's running seventh. Banana bender Dennis Brown, also in the stanza. He's ninth as the afternoon draws to a close.
Well, Dinter, 41 seconds. Is it going to be enough tonight?
I hope we can capitalise on that a bit, Keith, and hopefully get a bigger gap going tonight.
Well, you'll be trying hard then?
Yes, I think it's a big chance tonight. Well, we haven't got too much dust in front of us.
During the evening, the Mitsubishi team used the dust-free conditions to cling to their lead. Behind them, Fury swallows the dust and gradually moves closer to the leaders. Barry Lowe hangs on in fifth position. Greg Carr, 39 seconds behind Officer, will finish the night just 9 seconds down. Jeff Portman has dropped back. A broken axle has cost him dearly. Another axle failure later in the night will force his retirement.
George, what's the gap right now?
I don't know, but we've picked up a bit on Dinter Officer, and Greg Carr's behind us, so we don't know his times. But we're just doing our best, and we're sort of dwindling away. There's a bit of dust along the way, so Greg would be getting that as much as we are. And Dinter is, of course, car, in first place on the road.
Really bad for you, or is it patchy, the dust?
Oh, it's patchy, but in one control there, we lost a heap of time. We just come to a stop and then get going again.
Sunday morning dawns cool and clear for the final division. With 150 kilometres of competitive stages remaining, Officer leads Carr by a slender 9 seconds, with Fury only a couple of minutes further back. For each of the three teams, only one pace is a possibility, flat out. Officer leads the way. Carr follows, gaining time with each kilometre. Further back in the field, the competition for minor placings is just as intense. Panu Roppola and Wayne Kenny start the morning in 18th position, but they're just as keen as Greg Carr to close the gap on the team ahead. Officer charges on, not knowing that just behind, the Fiat has suffered terminal engine failure and the immediate pressure is off. The Fiat team coast down the mountain. All hopes of Carr winning his second Australian Championship are dashed.
Well, that's the end of that.
Must be disappointed.
Oh, yeah, but I don't think it's sunk in yet.
Just what, suddenly went?
Yeah, for no reason. We've never, ever had a problem with the engine, ever, in 3 years. And there it is. Conrod's out the side.
Fury continues his charge, but it won't be enough. Again, the Alpine slips through his fingers and he settles for second. Officer takes the Incaphil Alpine with a margin of just 53 seconds. Murray Coote, with a solid performance, finishes third. And David Jones in a Commodore comes home fifth, behind Barry Lowe in the 1600. The winners of the Incaphil Alpine Rally and new Australian Rally champions, husband and wife team David and Kate Officer, return triumphant to the Bright Sports Ground.
David and Kate, a great win. Congratulations.
Thank you, Keith. We're wrapped.
Well, it couldn't have been too easy today. You didn't have too big a margin, and they were breathing down your neck all the way. How'd you play it?
Well, George kept us very honest. He was taking time off us all day, and then we had a problem on one section and lost another minute to him. That was right down to the line. There was nothing much in it.
Hard work, eh?
Very difficult.
Kate, you're our first national motorsport champion of the female sex. How's it feel?
Terrific. Marvellous.
What about next year? You're going to do it again?
We'd like to, but we need some help from people who provide us with car and/or money.
You don't know what you're doing with the car?
This one we'll be selling, and if we can't get something next year, we'll be retiring.
Well, let's hope you can be our second national champion as well, maybe soon.
Pretty nice.